chances are everything you've heard about DPDR recovery in your whole entire life is flipped. It's backwards. It's the complete opposite of what you actually need to do in order to get your life back, right? And there's person A and there's person B. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can replicate the version that is required to reach a full recovery. And chances are, if you're not recovered yet, it's because you're person A. It's because you're the person A. The person A is the person you see after 20, 30 years still on Reddit looking for solutions, complaining about how they haven't recovered yet. But then there's person B, which is every single one of my clients. They all have to become person B in order to recover. I'd say 99.9% of them join my program as person A. But if you can replicate person B, you can embody this person with every single move you do. Recovery is not a hope. It's not like you're just praying for recovery. It's 100% fucking guaranteed. The main difference between these two is person A needs to have B do, and person B says B do have. Person A needs to have recovery first to be fulfilled and to do the things that they want to do with their life. But person B does the things, they're fulfilled first, and then recovery comes as a byproduct of that. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to do that in your life and how to replicate this exact version of yourself that you need to be in order to recover, not in months, but literally weeks. So with that being said, let's dive right into the video. All right, everyone. So chances are you've been doing everything backwards, right? What everyone says about DPDR recovery, you see so many different contradicting opinions. You probably have your full TikTok feed of DPDR, YouTube, whatever. You've probably been on Reddit forums. I was in that same position, right? I would always search for the solutions online, trying to find reasons like, why is my situation the one thing? Like, why do nothing that I try actually work? What is going on? The problem is, in this situation, is every single thing you've been taught is backwards, right? Everything's backwards. Chances are, everything that you've applied, you've been applying it wrong. Chances are everything you've been hearing has been the complete opposite of what you have to do. Chances are your whole outlook on DPDR is the complete opposite. And chances are you have to flip everything entirely and completely, right? So there's two types of people in recovery, right? There's two types of people that you'll encounter when it comes to recovering and getting your life back. There's the person A. This is the person you see on Reddit after 10 plus years. You know, you see like literally 20 years later, recovery is impossible. You hear all these things. This is this person, right? They live on Reddit. They chase info. They stay looking for solutions. They stay stuck in that victim mentality and mindset. This person needs recovery to feel happy. This person makes decisions based on symptoms. This person seeks safety through having control, right? They don't feel it first. They say, okay, when I recover, then I'll feel fulfilled. When I recover, then I can live my life. When I recover, then I'll travel. When I'll recover, then I'll go get a girlfriend. When I recover, then I can wake up early. Then when I recover, then I'm going to go start that business. They always put it off in the future. They make decisions based off of their symptoms. They might experience a symptom. They might avoid going out that night because the symptoms are really bad. They might experience a symptom and they might, go on their phone so they don't have to face the real world. They might experience symptoms and then they're living and saying that they can't be fulfilled because they have a visual symptom or existential thoughts, all of these things, right? They let it destroy their life. But then there's person B. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if you were born this way or if you're deciding to become this person now. It really, really doesn't matter. Person B is completely different. Person B recovers within weeks. Person B was all of my clients. Every single one of the clients I've ever worked with understands what it means to be person B. Whether I'll just go through some examples. Whether Sophie was person A or B joining, she was person A at first. Sophie joined me coming from a psych ward, right? She literally, not that like DPDR has anything to do with any psychotic thing at all, but she didn't know what was going on, right? So she was a person A for the longest time. She was in a psych ward. He spent 6 hours a day on therapy. It was ridiculous. Herman, he was a person A. Kieran, he was a person A. These people were all person A's when they first joined. Zach, 13-day recovery. Timo recovered as well, right? The difference is, Mindog is recovered, right? These people all recovered because they had to become person B. But person B, the difference is, person B chooses happiness and trust before symptoms go. They choose to be fulfilled before the symptoms fade. They say, hey, right now I am fulfilled no matter what happens to me. They say, right here today, I am already the most fulfilled, most joyful, happiest version of myself. And fuck the word happy, right? They're fulfilled. They act as if they're already healed, and they focus on living their life, not fixing anything, right? The difference is, person A stays stuck and says they need recovery to feel happy. These people prove through their actions that they are fulfilled regardless if they're recovered or not. Therefore, the recovery loses its meaning. Okay. So, knowing that, we know that you do not need to be recovered to be fulfilled. You don't recover to be fulfilled in life. Recovery is not what gets you to be fulfilled. You're fulfilled and then you recover, right? You're fulfilled and then you recover. So you're fulfilled first and then you recover. That's the meaning here. So it's not backwards. In the same analogy I've used in a lot of videos is like, you look at someone who's a millionaire, stupid rich. You're like, wow, you're confident because you have $1 million in your bank account. No, they're rich because of the confidence. It's flipped, right? The confidence comes from being rich. They're not rich before they're confident. Does that make sense? So, most people, they need recovery to be fulfilled. Fuck happiness, by the way. I included happiness when I made this Miro board, but I mean fulfilled. Recovery does not equal happiness. Happiness equals recovery. And fulfillment equals recovery. And alignment equals recovery. Here's how it works. So you first have the emotion. You feel the emotion of your recovered higher self. What does your higher self looks like? I tell you guys in almost every single video to write down every single aspect of your higher self. How does this person talk, walk, act, live on a daily basis? Now, what is this person doing to be, like, what is it required to be your higher self? So everything you need to do to get there and everything that's holding you back. From there, you know what your higher self looks like. And if you need help with this too, what do you desire out of life? What are some of the things you want to do with your life? If you desire something, whether it's money, a certain relationship, anything, that is your higher self. So now you want to feel the emotions of your higher self. What would it feel like to be rich? What would it feel like to be jacked? What would it feel like to have an amazing wife or husband? What would it feel like to be my higher self? What would it feel like to be disciplined? What would it feel like to wake early? You get the feeling first. That feeling, now that you're excited, you can feel like when I imagine my dream life, I imagine traveling the world, incredible relationship. I don't feel it, but I can feel what it would feel like to have that girl in my life, right? So I know that every single day I'm taking action towards living that life. And it's the pursuit of happiness. It's the happiness within the pursuit, not the pursuit of happiness. While taking action towards becoming that person of your higher self is where the fulfillment really comes in. So you're taking action. You're starting to become extremely and entirely fulfilled. That action starts to show you evidence that it's possible. Because what action does is it gives you progress. Action equals progress. You prove to yourself through action, and that's evidence because you start getting results. If I believe in my head, okay, I want to feel like the feeling of being shredded as shit, jacked, six-pack abs, take action towards it. That action's going to reflect that that's true. And that'll be my evidence. And the thing is, guys, your brain does not learn about what you want. You guys can always talk about, oh, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be jacked, I want to recover from DPDR. But it doesn't give a fuck. It only cares about what you repeatedly do every single day. So you need to act safe. That causes you to feel safe, which causes your brain to rewire, and your reality will reflect it. Does that make sense? You need to literally embody your recovered self. Now, examples, again, a lot of my videos I make, you might be like, well, there's not directly implementation for my life. It's because my life's different than you. My higher self looks different than you. My best self looks different than you. My desires out of life are different than you. God planted a different gift in me than you. So, of course, we're going to do different things. But for me, here are some examples that I did. You guys saw the physique. Got in the best shape of my life. Literally got tan, jacked, all these things. It made me so happy, right? My fulfillment comes from the gym, all these things. These are what really made me fulfilled in life, right? getting shredded as shit. Like this stuff really made me happy. And it wasn't really like looking this way, but it was the process in getting here. But like that was a lot of the things that made me feel alive, made me feel safe, and even like every time I'd show up, regardless of how I feel more fulfilled every single solitary time. Now you go here, like I went to Miami, so I'm going on like about to go to a trip to Italy for a month solo trip, or with a friend. I forget which one I'm doing. I want to travel the whole world this year, so bunch of trips. This was out of my comfort zone. Now I still had DPDR when I was here. I was a fitness coach, and I was meeting other entrepreneurs. And what I realized was, for the longest time, I would wait. I would say, okay, I can't be rich if I'm experiencing DPDR. Not that like money's the most important thing here. That's not the point. That was one of my goals, right? Financial success, right? Financial freedom. I was like, I can't be rich if I'm experiencing DPDR. I can't experience symptoms if I'm experiencing DPDR. I can't, that's not what I meant. I can't be rich if I can't get jacked if I'm experiencing DPDR. I can't have good relationships. I can't talk to people. My biggest thing was I'd feel disconnected from people. So I had a fear of, when I was going to, Miami trip, or when I was going on other trips I've been on, I had a fear like, okay, I'm going to have to meet entrepreneurs, successful individuals. These people are all successful, right? I was scared about it, right? This was aligned with my higher self. I know my potential was high. I know God gave me this desire for a reason. But I did it anyways, right? And by doing it anyways, I acted on it, which decided me to feel safe because I proved that I didn't die. I could feel fulfilled. And actually, I had a really good time. It was one of the best experiences of my life. This instantly starts acting on the brain rewiring period. So your brain will instantly start to rewire when you prove it and you start to feel it. I proved that I could still go to the gym regardless of every single time I go to the gym, and I'd have visual snow in my vision, and I'd have static vision, and I would feel like, I'm disconnected from the weights in my hands. I didn't feel like I was the one lifting the weights. All these fears, I proved every single solitary day with my actions, which allowed me to feel safe because I proved that nothing's wrong and that I can actually be these persons regardless. So you show proof every single day. Your brain will start to rewire. Like literally every single action will cause your brain to rewire. Okay? And with each and every single time, I started to get better. So this is where I recovered like soon after this because I proved. And then I created the higher self blueprint. I was like, I couldn't do this. I can't do this, right? And then I executed on it, and now I own my own business. I've been to Italy, did my own I went to concerts, woke up at 4 a.m. every single day. I used to be like, what if I get less sleep? My symptoms are bad. And I still think sleep one of the most important things, but I went against that fear, right? And I proved that nothing actually bad would happen, right? And I used to always say like, I have so much fatigue. And guess what? Guess what got me to get more energy? Waking up earlier, not sleeping in longer, right? So a lot of you guys are like, I'm experiencing so much fatigue. You just need to give yourself a reason to have energy. When you're in full alignment, you wake up before the alarm, right? So find your purpose. Find what's you need to do in life. And if you don't know what your purpose is, go past your comfort zone and have faith, and God will find you your purpose. So you prove it, your reality will reflect that, right? People that are stuck in DPDR. Here's the habit that keeps you stuck, guys. You wait, you check, you analyze, and you feel worse. Let me say that again. You wait on it, so you wait for recovery. You guys try to wait it out. You can't wait out recovery. If you say tomorrow, a month, a week, if you're not actively feeling better every single week, you're not improving. I hate to break it to you. Nothing's going to change. I mean, you might get lucky. You might get very lucky. But for the most part, I had it for 4 years. I cruised at 90% for years of that time, thinking that, it would eventually get past the edge. No, that's the biggest thing. When you see like the DP manual, I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. The DP manual, all these things you see online, like they tell you to wait it out, to not do anything about it. You cannot wait it out. If you wait it out, nothing will change. That's why I say I get on calls with people. Well, I'm like, okay, you can go wait it out. But like, you go a week, you go a day, you're going to stay in the same cycle. Nothing changes until nothing changes. And it's like you can sit on the island forever, but it's not until you start swimming away from it that you can see the new perspective of life. You guys won't change until nothing changes. And it's what I say a lot too is like, if you're on an island and you're stranded on an island, you're going to make decisions based off of your perspective, right? You're going to make decisions based off of the fact that you're stranded on an island. But let's say you want to get to a mountain, so you have a whole new perspective. You can see the whole world for what it really is. You staying on that island and not actually swimming by taking action towards your recovery is what keeps you stuck. So when you stop waiting, you stop checking your symptoms, you stop being so attached to the way you feel, you stop analyzing how you feel, you stop feeling worse because of these things, that's when things can change. Look at me. This is me on the ground, just this is me after I got drunk at a party, but it gives you an example of like how you can feel when you keep trying these things, right? Being in a state of waiting. When you guys say, I'm gonna wait to feel fulfilled, I'm gonna wait to be happy first. I'm gonna wait to recover until I can actually travel. I'm gonna wait to recover until I go back to work. I'm gonna wait to recover until I lift. You are never gonna recover if you do that mindset. You have to go regardless of how you feel, right? So you're showing up regardless, being that person regardless. Your identity leads, your feelings follow. You only cares about what you do every single day. And if your actions don't prove and reflect your recovered self, you will stay stuck. Now, the identity shift that changes everything is you first gotta find your higher self, right? Everything I told you about it, you gotta walk like it. You gotta talk like it. You gotta eat like it. So walk like it. Okay, if you walk into a freaking room and your shoulders are caved in, you're showing that you're insecure, right? You're not your higher self. You're not reflecting your confident self. Your subconscious mind picks up on every single thing you do every single day. It's called subconscious reprogramming. You're programming yourself to be insecure, right? You talk like it. You're speaking all shy and quiet like you're not your higher self. You eat like it. If you're not eating good quality food, you're fueling yourself with shitty food. It's like putting shitty gas in a Lambo, right? You can't do that. And you're thinking like it. If you're thinking negative thoughts, you're not going to get there. So you got to think positively and embody that higher version of yourself every single day. And the biggest thing I want you guys to know, it has to be who you are, right? It has to be who you are. You can't say, I'm locking in, I'm going to go 30 days hard, and then I'll recover. It has to be who you are. That has to be the person that you become. And then for the longest time, I would say like, okay, I'm going to lock in for the next 30 days, but you're always putting a time frame on it. That's not your identity. You're showing up and you're doing these things to recover. So again, when I say like all these things about your higher self, all these things you saw about your higher self, you're not doing these things to recover. You're doing these things because you genuinely want to improve as a person. Until you finally can accept that truth, you will stay stuck. So it's literally doing those things because that's who you are as a person, and you will fight this battle you might fight this battle for a minute, right? You might take you a few weeks to fight this battle of your old self, your old identity stringing back, and you might be like, okay, I have to show up to recover, but eventually your dopamine will start to spike because you'll start to get a reward from it. So if I show up to the gym every day, if I do my routine, if I stick to non-negotiables every single day, whatever your higher self does, if you stick to that every single day, you'll start to get massive rewards for your actions. Those massive rewards for those actions will then lead to a dopamine hit because your brain will start to correlate the work and what used to feel like work towards feeling confident, towards feeling better, having more energy. And then it eventually becomes your identity, right? It becomes who you are, right? You first have the belief, you take action on it, that becomes a stronger belief. But common traps that a lot of people also fall into is they search instead of acting. Guys, searching instead of acting on it is the biggest problem. Don't search. Don't ever search for solutions, right? We're not searching for solutions. The only solution you guys should look for is through in my program. If you guys looking for a bunch of things, you're going to contradict yourself. You're not going to have a solid solution. You're going to stay in a state of needing to be fixed, right? You can't want what you already have. Well, you can't want what you don't have. You can't have what you want, right? Because that means you don't already have it. The next is trying to feel normal before living, right? You're trying to feel normal, but you're actually before you actually go out and live your life. When I mean live your life, it means go out and genuinely live your life. Go on trips. Go have fun. Like Timo, you guys want to? Let me actually go up a bit. Here. So my guy Timo, he's actually right here. My guy Timo, he reached a recovery. How? Because he's living his best life. Essentially, Timo, he reclaimed his mind and passion and his freedom, and this is what recovery really looks like. So he's DJing right now. He's DJing. Look at him. I don't know what's happening here. Essentially, he's DJing at an event right here, and this is one of the biggest passions he has. This is what makes him some high self. So you guys look at me. You might be like, okay, you eat extremely healthy. You're in the gym. You're jacked. I think everyone should be jacked as shit in the gym, regardless. But it doesn't mean you can't have fun. I want you to have fun. That's the whole point of this. So you're living before trying to feel normal, and then you feel normal from living, right? Because living should be your normal. You're waiting for perfect mental clarity. Fuck being perfect, guys. You know, I just accidentally crash dieted my physique and I ruined my physique, and I could complain about how I don't have the best physique, whatever. I'm not fuck perfect, guys. The only way to be perfect is to have a imperfect plan and perfect it, right? So you don't need to be perfect before you go out. People, you're not gonna like. I used to have the biggest fear that I have terrible brain fog, and I'll go out, live my life, or go back to work, and then I'm gonna get fired or something. That's all in your head. That's the what if spiral. All right, and the more you engage with that, the more you're gonna get. It's like the For You page of your mind analogy I use all the time. When you engage in something, even if it's a sad video that you don't want, even if it's a sad video, you don't even want to watch it, but you watch the whole thing, you're gonna get more of it. If you engage in the fact that you can't think right, you have brain fog, you're gonna get more of it. Anything. If you have trouble sleeping, you engage in that thought, you're gonna get more of it. And you're also measuring recovery by symptoms. Each one can fade in one by one. You need to measure your recovery by how you're showing up every single day. And it doesn't matter how you show up when things are easy. It matters how you show up when things feel impossible, right? Because that is the test. Every single solitary one of my clients has had the test day, and they've all passed it, and that's why they've all recovered, right? So the way you recover is by showing up on those test days, smiling at the symptoms, saying, I love this shit, and then doing the actions regardless. And the flip that changes everything is this is actually what changed my life. Be, do, have, replacing have, be, do. So losers, the people that don't ever recover, you know what they say? You know what they say? The people that, not losers, okay, but the people that have DPDR forever that you see on Reddit, they need to have recovery first before they be the version of themselves who's recovered, and they do, right? So here's exactly what I mean by this. So they need to have recovery to do the things and be happy. They need recovery first. This was me when I was like that, when I had that mindset. This is the person A mindset. They need to have recovery. They need to do the things because of they're recovered and then be happy. You know what the freaking recovered people do, bro? They be happy. They do the things and then they have recovery. Be, do, have. Be, do, have. You don't need to have it first. You need to be, do, and then you have it as a byproduct of that. Again, every single person who joins my program, the first thing I say is I'm no longer your DPDR coach. I'm your higher self coach. And every single day you recover as a byproduct of being in alignment with your higher self. So looking back, guys, I realized that God gave me DPDR for a reason, to become my higher self. So you guys have to have the mindset. If you're still in the regretting mindset of like, okay, this all happened to me, my life's destroyed, what do I do from here? You're in the victim mindset of like, okay, this was the worst thing that's ever happened to me. The winner, the person B says, okay, this happened for me to actually build me into a new person. They be happy now because of all the things that they learned from this experience, right? And the biggest takeaway I want you guys to learn is you don't need to fix yourself anymore. You're done trying to fix yourself. You just need to become the real you. You don't need to even create a new person. Become the real version of yourself at the end of the day. Each and every single guys have so much potential. Just the fact that you can conceive and believe and comprehend a version of yourself that is fully recovered is living proof within itself that full recovery is possible. And it's up to you right now to go ahead and take action towards that life and to actually live as your recovered higher self. Okay? So with that being said, guys, this is it. To summarize, the video and everything I want you guys to take away from this is you can either be person A or person B. You can be person A who stays stuck for the rest of their life, or you can be the winner, who like all my clients. You can either choose to be in the victim mindset of like everything's happening to me, or you can say everything's happening for me. You can either choose to be happy, to need to be recovered, to be fulfilled, or to be so fulfilled from your day-to-day actions that even if you have DPDR for the rest of your life, it wouldn't affect anything because every single day is the exact same. Regardless, you're still having the best days ever. So what you can do here is to also focusing on having one amazing day. If you have one amazing day, DPDR doesn't exist, because the only reason DPDR exists is because you've created this false problem in your head, this false problem that has made you stay in this state for so long, but you don't need to live like that anymore, guys. All right, so with that being said, guys, if you guys want to work with me one-on-one to reach a full 100% recovery within weeks, I'm talking weeks, book a call in the link below and I'll see if you're a good fit and we can get started. But with that being said, guys, follow my Instagram as well, link in the bio. But we're all in this process together. We're all recovering together, and each and every single one of you guys deserves to be recovered. And if you're watching this video, that means you know that this version of yourself exists. So go out there and achieve anything you guys want out of this life. Let's get it. I'll see you guys in the next video.